Soul Garden.
Hello my friends, happy summer solstice, and a reminder we've got friends to help you out in a jam at soulmart.me, like our newest practitioner Bernadette Morgan, all the way in England, helping you with a 30-minute power shot, jam through your troubles with Bernadette, or maybe just a quick 15-minute read with Master One Feather, our expert psychic. Or perhaps you're looking for your destiny. How about DJ David Palmer? He'll give you an astrological destiny reading, all at soulmart.me. Hello my heroes, and welcome back to Soul Horoscopes Weekly Edition. I'm your host to the universe, Christopher Witecki. And we're zipping along in the Cancer vibration. Welcome back, it's a pleasure to be back. By the way, don't forget, the mothership is the happiest place on the internet as far as we're concerned. SoulGuard.me, come on down, a whole bunch of Rams just like you. Bernadette Morgan is your leader, fearless, and there to help. So come on down anytime, create a profile, and log in with your lightworker friends. Well, we're working on a lot. It's not a horrible transit with the sun in Cancer, but it certainly is a difficult one because really the emotions of the last year are catching up with us, and to some degree, the emotions of the last 3 years are catching up with us. And this week we're going to start to find and feel a shift finally after a long period of time. Now, since you are an Aries, you are the epitome of this. You are literally dealing with your emotional state of awareness this month, and you are dealing with how to manage your emotions. As we begin on Monday, unfortunately, Uranus rules a day. That means we're going to have a breakdown emotionally. Now, when Uranus rules a day, especially in the first chapter, this is actually about having the wrong context emotionally, in this case, having the wrong emotional context about your life. So for instance, if you find that something breaks down on Monday, a relationship, a work relationship, because we're talking about how you relate emotionally to yourself, it could be triggered anywhere in your life in that particular moment. The moon will be in Virgo, so you'll be feeling hyper aware and very much kind of like a raw nerve in the moment. It might play out in your workplace, but here's the whole point. The point is how you emotionally respond to the situation. And in this particular case, the universe is trying to expose a false context. That's what Uranus always does. So for instance, maybe you approach life from the victim emotional perspective, always feeling like the victim. That's a context. Always feeling like you have to be the hero is an emotional context. These are setups emotionally for how you will auto-respond. So what the universe is trying to do on Monday is get you to respond differently, and not just differently, but in a different context. And that is really probably the hardest hurdle of this month. On Tuesday, it's a bit cloudy. We're going to be spaced out. The moon is still going to be in Virgo, so hyper awareness is sort of what it's all about. Mercury rules the day, so if you don't understand where you went wrong with context the day before, you'll probably start to put it together on Tuesday. This is also a day to really pay attention to whether or not your mind is paying attention. That's the first chapter 1 vision. Is your mind paying attention to your emotions, or does your mind race out of emotion and quickly ignore that you feel something? Some people have a mind that does that right away. So Tuesday is a day to really sort of understand that, and we're going to have a bit of an influx during the day as the moon crosses over Mars by the second half of the day. As the moon crosses Mars, this will be revving up, if you will. Now, the Mars Virgo issue has been pushing you for a long time to get on with the new lifestyle, to get on with living in the moment differently. In some cases, it's been to get on with your health regimen. Whatever it is starting to finally wrap up. It had retrograded as well. And so as the moon crosses over Mars, I think you're going to feel a huge maybe ambition to move forward, or you might feel a severe impatience. Just suddenly you can't take it anymore. You need things to change. That is Mars meeting emotion. Let's not forget the whole month's point is how you respond to emotion. So as the moon crosses Mars and revs you up, this is an invitation to grow and see just how well your inner mommy is at taking care of you at times. So Tuesday, a bit of a test. On Wednesday, things smooth out a bit. That's because Venus rules the day, which is really nice. And on top of that, the moon moves into Libra, which is the Venus-ruled sign. So it's a very spring, beautiful, maybe early summer kind of vibration, that flowery kind of bloom feeling. That is the feeling I think that will will come, which is a good feeling. The moon in Libra will make you sensitive to your relationships and fairness in your life. So if you're feeling ripped off somewhere, you might get inflamed about that. But I think after the way the week started, this will be a welcome day of just peace and tranquility and checking in with yourself. That's really what it's about. With Venus ruling the day, no matter what you went through in the last 2 days, it's now time to restore balance and order to your self-nurturing. So if it was a rough couple of days, it's time to restore balance and order. Or perhaps it's time to upgrade a bit and add to where you find pockets or need in your self-nurturing. Remember, chapter 1 of any transit is determining what's in the way, what's wrong, or what we need to shed from the past to be able to move forward in chapter 2 and chapter 3. So this is a day of restoring balance so you can assess better than usual. Now, in the course of this day, Saturn, and Venus are going direct in this 24-hour period. I know I said Venus was direct last weekend. I must have been out of my mind coming back. But nonetheless, Venus is going direct Wednesday and Thursday. Actually, Saturn is on Wednesday, Venus is on Thursday. But the point is, this is a huge shift in gears. On the one hand, with Venus and Jupiter, they're nearly conjuncting in Gemini. This is going to be now you moving forward with new thinking. You moving forward with creative thinking. You moving forward with new ways of thinking. So a fresh attitude is rewarded by Jupiter right now and will be until further notice next summer. And you really start to feel this as Venus goes direct on Thursday. But my point of Saturn going direct has to do with relationships. With Saturn going direct and the moon in Libra during this period, what I'm saying is you're going to start to feel the responsibility of relationships. You're going to feel it's now time to move forward with relationships. You're going to now say, I can't wait anymore, or this isn't going to change. It's that sort of shift that happens, and you can see how it all works. Venus saying, let's think forward now, new attitude. You feeling how things are fair or not fair with the moon in Libra. Saturn moving direct saying, okay, chop, chop. And really, when it comes to marriage and partnerships, you're going to continue moving forward until it is solved. Sometime hopefully around when the sun moves into Scorpio. That's probably when you'll draw your final lines this fall. So Aries is wrapping up a very long emotional transit there. The point I bring all this up is the moon crosses over Saturn really during the day, Wednesday morning for Europe, and then while we sleep in the United States. Some of these transits are while we sleep in the United States. The United States people are going to be absorbing this subconsciously. But when the moon crosses Saturn, this is really probably the emotions going, all right, that's it, especially by Thursday. Emotions crossing Saturn says, that's it, I must take responsibility for my relationships. I can't let something hold me back anymore. I know better now than to stay into this. I can't be single anymore. I don't want to be alone anymore. Whatever that shift finally is, you feel it inside when you wake up in the United States or during the day in Europe. It's kind of interesting how the United States or Europe will switch on who gets the hot ticket. So that is Thursday with Venus now direct. On Friday we have an interesting little moment, and this kind of happens more for Europe than it does the United States. But on Friday, we're going to have Saturn ruling the day. So on Friday, this is a day where it's time to make decisions. It's time to say, all right, enough is enough. I'm tired of feeling this way in my life. And that's really what it'll be for Aries is I'm tired of feeling this way in my life. All right. What happens during the course of the day is we have a period of a soul pyramid. A minor soul pyramid that lasts for just a few hours. It allows us to put everything together. And really, what's interesting is for you, it's triggered by a shift in boundaries. So suddenly you are feeling vulnerable, you are feeling like you can't trust, you are feeling like you're ready to trust, and that triggers Neptune and the Sun to coordinate. All right, so your intuition kind of also chimes in, and the Sun decides. What does the Sun decide? That it can't do it anymore. It has to step away, probably from a very old emotional pattern. And that emotional pattern might be the context breakdown you had on Monday, and be based on, I've always been the victim, not anymore. I've always been the one to be humble, not anymore. Whatever that case is, you're deciding by Friday. That's a quick week, and saying, I am done with this. And that will give you the strength, and I think the soul pyramid also contributes to that strength. Then the universe wastes no time. On Saturday, Mars rules the day. That's your planet. It's time to act at that point. It'll be time to move forward and take steps of action away from whatever you don't want anymore, and of course toward what you think might be the promised land. Now we got 2 chapters still, but really what we're doing here is we're shedding off the emotional baggage. And since Saturn went direct, we're really shedding off emotional baggage of relationships, marriages, failed partnerships, etc. So I think this stepping forward is much bigger than any relationship you are in. It's actually representing a very long cycle. For those of you old enough, over 30 years okay? If you're around the 80s, you went through the same transit when it came to relationships. So this is the end of a 30-year cycle, and emotionally, it's the end probably of emotional responding or an emotional context that's lasted for 30 years. So it's kind of an exciting time. People should enjoy themselves. On Saturday, you want to take action and move towards love, and Mercury up in Leo is showing that you're going to have some breakthrough about self-love, which is the next transit coming up, but our minds are already there with Mercury. Thank you, Mercury, for scouting ahead. On Sunday, we hold space. This is an Earth rule day on Sunday. The moon will be now in Sagittarius. That's going to make you cloudy but self-reflective. Sunday will be very kind of typical in the sense that you are in your own church of Aries, and you're probably just processing what you've learned in the last 30 days. There is another temporary soul pyramid triggered by the moon in Sagittarius down to Uranus in your sign of ego and over to Mercury. So part of Sunday's self-reflection is triggered by the emotion, but what it comes down to is, I've started to realize that I'm a new person, Uranus and Aries, a new character is being born, Uranus and Aries, and your mind up in Leo is keeping you in concert with where you should be, which is your inner child. So Sunday, I'm real curious. You'll have to comment and tell me what happens, but it looks like some interesting epiphanies for the Rams. All right, my heroes, that's all I got for this solid week. Thank you for joining me once again, and I will see you on Monday with more. Until then, live, love, be.